This video and the rest of the 24 videos that I will be posting every other week for the rest of this year was made possible thanks to the funding from the people whose names you see on screen. $1 is worth 1,000 views, so these people individually contributed more to this video's ability to exist than everybody else who watched it combined. Thank you very much. If you want to get your name into these videos, you can send me $10 a month on patreon.com/goldenwitchfire, $7 a month on goldenwitch.substack.com, or $5 a month on backed.by/we-watch-anime. The reason it's so discounted on there is that I don't have to give any fees to that platform, and I cannot be kicked off of that platform because I own my own instance of the platform. I also offer bonus episodes of the We Watch Anime podcast that you can listen to on this channel over on those sites, so check all that out and let me not hold up the video anymore. Most of the time, the main character of a story, the one that we follow over the course of the story, is the protagonist, the character who is driving the action in the story, and also the hero, the person whose qualities earn our admiration such that we want to see them succeed in the story. Now obviously there's plenty of shows that start off with the hero making some kind of mistake, which must be repented for over the rest of the show, but that's not what I'm talking about in this video. There's lots of heroes that make complex moral decisions and could be considered anti-heroes, and there are some shows that exist in a moral gray area where none of the characters can really be called a hero or a villain, and there are some shows that just flat out focus on awful people. Recently there's been a trend of centering shows around characters who traditionally would fulfill the role of villain, but showing them in a new light for their heroic qualities. Oftentimes these shows reveal the traditional heroes to be more so villainous, or end up teaming heroes and villains together in the name of fighting bigger villains. And in the unique case of Jujutsu Kaisen, the hero and the villain are trapped in the same body and forced on one another's existence. But none of these are the type of shows that I'm talking about in this video. This is about the occasional show in which the protagonist is just straight up the villain of the story and the antagonist is the hero. Alright, enough. That was just a taste of what's already available to anybody who's giving me at least $5 on Patreon, at least $1 on backed.by, and $7 on Substack, as described in that little clip you just watched, which is from Heroic Antagonists in Anime, the first of 24 videos that I wrote back-to-back to be released bi-weekly for the next year. Is it just a year, you might be wondering? No, I already started writing a 25th and 26th video. I just wanted to guarantee that there was at least a year before I started making these, because I've had so many shift-ups in the way that I've done my whole career over the last, all of it, and so I wanted there to be at least some guarantee to the audience that you were gonna get this type of content consistently for an amount of time that might be satisfying, you know, just to inspire you to think that it's worth getting excited about, and not just something that's going to end in 2 weeks when I change everything again. I already wrote all 24 of them. It's already a done deal. It's already in the bag. They all exist. The reason for this approach is that the most difficult thing for me about making videos for such a long time was always having to have new ideas that I thought were good enough to be worth writing a video about, like, you know, 3 or 4 times a month, every single month, and it just got really tiring, and I had a tough time keeping them consistent. It was hard to write scripts that are all kind of around the same length, of the same quality, of a subject matter that's broad enough that it appeals to lots of people, and so I wanted to just see if I could collect 24 of those before even pressing go on releasing anything. I didn't want to, you know, write 5 or 6 pretty good videos and then start releasing them and then be out of ideas, you know, and then be back on that grind of trying to come up with shit every single week. I don't have to come up with anything for the next year. I've already got a video written for every other week for a year. They're all solid material. You know, if I write something even better in the time, you know, in this year that I think is more appropriate to come out sooner, I might put that in front of some of the ones that I already wrote, kick back some of the more timeless ones that don't have to worry about coming out you know, while they're relevant or whatever. But the point is, there's already 24. Most of them are timeless. Most of them are not things that need to be published with any kind of timeliness to make their point. Only a few are. What kind of videos can you expect from this series? There's a few of them that I already have voiced. I just have to edit and schedule them. So I'd love to know which one you would all like to see next. There's Jujutsu Kaisen's Turning Point, If I Ran an Anime Network, Space Anime, and Anime with Personality. Those are 4 that I've already recorded. So whichever one of those you'd like to see 2 weeks from now if you're a patron, or 3 weeks from now if you are not, because the video that's already out will be released on Thursday, this next Thursday, on the We Watch Anime channel, which is going to be the main home for this content. If you're wondering why not just use Gig Studio, Gig Studio is a fucked channel. Nobody really understands it. It's not just the algorithm, it's mostly the amount of content ID claims that the channel gets, because the rules of content ID are always changing. And every time they change, it rescans my whole library of videos and something new gets blocked. So the channel is so volatile, it really is not a safe, permanent home for my YouTube content. I will still post these videos on Yig Studio a week after the We Watch Anime channel, just for maximum exposure. They'll all have a bumper at the front that's like, hey, idiot, you could have subbed to this other channel and you would have already seen this video. Because, again, Yig Studio is just too volatile to build a new career on it. We Watch Anime is primed for anime content, obviously. It just makes sense to use that as a place to post this stuff. And when we bring back the We Watch Anime podcast, we can nicely have that fill in the gaps, you know, algorithmically between these 2-week gaps that are between these main videos. But 2 weeks, I picked that because I know I can get a video out every 2 weeks, no matter what happens, no matter how much life is interrupted. I know they're all written, so the idea part, that's the difficult part to me, is figuring out what the video is going to be. Actually creating the video is usually pretty easy by comparison. So, you know, there's no question in my mind of my ability to get these videos out every other week while still having time to do podcasts, to do live streams, appear on other stuff. I'm going to be going back to full-time YouTubing. You know, Bird and I, we had this traveling job for the last year. If you've been listening to the We Watch Anime podcast, you know everything that's gone on in our lives, because we started off every episode with a lengthy segment just going through whatever we were up to in between shows. We haven't done a show in like a month and a half or 2 months or something like that. So what happened? We moved across the country. Our traveling job was pretty much keeping us in California. All of the work that they had was in California, which is a very expensive place to be. A lot of our family moved to the east. We're currently at my parents' house. They moved back to Virginia. So, you know, the cost of living is way lower here. Even though Hampton Roads is still a little bit more expensive than like the rest of the South, but like even still, just half of what it costs to live in California. So Bird has gone back to door dashing, and I am going back to the internet. We had a lot of time back in January. We spent about a month babysitting Bird's grandparents' dogs, and that's when I wrote most of these videos. I finished up the series once we made it here to Virginia. So yeah, that's how I was able to write all these 24 videos and, you know, to get started on editing them before any of them came out. I've also been working on other major projects unrelated to this in the background, so I'm not going to talk about any of that in this video. This is just to promote the fact that right now, you could be having access to the first of the 24 videos. You can also get your name in all of them. The version that you just saw and that's available to patrons has the list of everybody who was already giving me $10 plus on Patreon or $5 plus on backed.by. But if you want to get your name into the public release version of the video, you can sign up for the Patreon now. I'll add all the names that have signed up into the public release version. That way you can have your name in every single one of the videos from this point forward. Patreon has these deals where you can sign up for a whole year. That's another part of why I wanted to do a whole year of content, is that I now have people who register to be, you know, like for We Watch Anime, there are people who put their name to be said at the start of every episode, and they bought it for a whole year up front, so it necessitated that there be a year worth of content. That's another part of why I had to make sure there was a whole year to come out. So if you want your name in every video for that whole year, you can pay for that all up front and get a major discount on Patreon. Or you can get even more discounted by using backed.by for the reasons I explained in that little clip. Is there anything else I need to say? Yes, about the We Watch Anime bonus episodes. We fell way behind on those. We had been promising a bonus episode every month talking about a complete anime series, and then also a monthly manga podcast. And keeping up with all of that on top of the normal show proved impossible once our job really got a lot more hectic, and we have not had the chance to record another. We've actually watched all the shows for the next episode. We just can't record because this is a terrible recording environment. It's taken me like 10 tries to make this video because I had to have a pocket of silence in the house, but I found one, so we've made it, people. But yeah, so we're just going to stop doing the bonus episodes because I'm doing anime analysis videos again anyways, so anything I would have covered in those videos I could probably do more interestingly just by writing about it. But we will continue the We Read Manga podcast for the high-rolling backers on these platforms, because I'm excited to keep doing that podcast. I really want to continue reading all those manga. I want Bird to read all those manga. I want to talk about them with Bird, so I want that podcast to exist. So that's going to come back as our super bonus reward tier. But otherwise, all the bonus episodes that we did record for We Watch Anime, we'll still finish the Heike Monogatari one because we promised that and we wanted to do it with Land Anime. So we'll wrap that one up, and all those are available to anybody who pays $5 or more on Patreon anyways. So now the backer rewards are, $5 get the video early, $10 get your name in the video, $15 get the We Read Manga podcast. All of that's discounted on back.by. And also on Substack, for $7, you can get your name in the videos, but you have to tell me what name you want in a comment because Substack doesn't just have usernames the way that the other sites do. Okay, I think I said it all. Thanks again. Check it out. Anime forever.